Have you ever wondered why our greatest fears often hide our greatest opportunities? This intriguing paradox of fear is our opening act today. Let's delve into the depths of this emotion that can both hold us back and push us forward, depending on how we choose to engage with it. Fear, as you might already know, is a primal instinct, a protective mechanism that has been hardwired into our brains since the dawn of humanity. Its primary purpose? To keep us safe from harm, to alert us to potential dangers lurking in the shadows. It's the reason we jump at the sudden sound of a twig snapping in the forest, or why our hearts pound in our chests when we're alone in a dark alley. But while fear can be our guardian, it can also be our jailer, limiting our potential by keeping us confined within the narrow walls of our comfort zones. It can prevent us from taking risks, from reaching out for opportunities, from exploring the unknown. And that's where the paradox lies. To illustrate this, let's consider the anecdote of a mountain climber. Imagine someone who has a deep-rooted fear of heights. Every time they look down from a high place, their legs turn to jelly, their palms sweat, their heart races. Yet they choose to confront this fear, to climb mountains despite the terror gnawing at their gut. Why? Because they understand that only by facing their fear can they experience the breathtaking beauty of the world from a mountaintop, the exhilaration of conquering a challenging peak, the sense of achievement that comes from pushing past their perceived limitations. Our mountain climber didn't let their fear control them. Instead, they harnessed it as a motivator, a catalyst for growth. They used it as a compass, guiding them towards their true potential. So what's our takeaway from this? It's simple, yet profound. As the climber learned, the very thing that scares us may just be the stepping stone to our greatest achievements. And that, dear listener, is the intriguing paradox of fear. Imagine how different your life could be if you weren't held back by your fears. Fear, that invisible force that often guides our decisions, can have a profound impact on our personal and professional lives. It can be the invisible barrier between us and our dreams, the silent whisper that holds us back from taking that leap of faith. Let's look at the world of business. Entrepreneurs, for example, are constantly on a tightrope walk, balancing the fear of failure and the possibility of success. This fear can be paralyzing, preventing them from making bold decisions that might lead to breakthroughs. Yet it's often those who dare to step beyond their fears that create the most innovative and successful ventures. Similarly, in the realm of sports, fear can be a formidable opponent. Picture a gymnast standing on the edge of the mat, ready to perform a complex routine. The fear of falling can be overwhelming, suffocating even. But it's when they push past this fear that they achieve greatness, executing flawless flips and twists that leave us in awe. And in the arts, fear can stifle creativity. Artists often grapple with the fear of criticism or rejection. This fear can cause them to hold back, to refrain from expressing their true feelings and ideas. Yet, it's when they confront this fear and create without restraint that they produce their most impactful work. In all these instances, fear leads to missed opportunities and regrets. It whispers in our ears, telling us we can't, we shouldn't, we won't. It keeps us from reaching our full potential, from living our lives to the fullest. But here's the thing. Fear is not an insurmountable obstacle. It's a challenge, yes, but one that we can overcome. It's a chain that we ourselves have the power to break. The chains of fear are often the heaviest, but remember, they are also the ones we have the power to break. Overcoming fear isn't about erasing it, it's about learning to dance with it. The dance steps in this case are strategies we can employ to better manage and eventually overcome our fears. The first step in this dance is understanding the root of the fear. Often our fears stem from past experiences or ingrained beliefs. Let's consider John, a brilliant public speaker now, who once dreaded the thought of speaking in front of a crowd. He traced his fear back to a childhood incident where he forgot his lines in a school play and was laughed at. Identifying this root cause allowed him to understand that his fear was not born out of his present capabilities but a distant memory. This understanding is a powerful tool in disarming fear. Next, we have the strategy of gradual exposure. It's like dipping your toes in the water before taking the full plunge. This method is about taking small, manageable steps towards facing your fear. Think about Lisa, who is terrified of heights. She didn't start by jumping out of an airplane with a parachute on her back. Instead, she first tried climbing a small ladder, then a tree, then a hill, and eventually she was able to stand on the rooftop of a skyscraper, looking down without feeling faint. Gradual exposure allows us to build confidence and resilience, proving to ourselves that we are capable of facing our fears head-on. But what if our fears are too overwhelming, too paralyzing to face alone? That's where the third strategy comes into play: seeking professional help. Therapists and counselors are trained to help us navigate our fears and anxieties. They provide tools and techniques to better understand and manage our fears. Take the example of Maria, who was petrified of the dark due to a traumatic event. With the help of a therapist, she was able to confront her fear in a safe and controlled environment, eventually gaining control over it. Remember, overcoming fear is a process, not a one-time event. It's a journey that requires patience, courage, and persistence. We may stumble, we may fall, but each time we get back up, we strengthen our resolve and inch closer to victory. Just as a dancer doesn't perfect their routine in a single rehearsal, we may not conquer our fears in one attempt. It's about consistent practice and unwavering determination. It's about learning to anticipate the rhythm of fear, moving with it, and finally mastering the dance. And lastly, don't be too hard on yourself. It's okay to be afraid. Fear is a natural human emotion designed to protect us. It's a signal that we are stepping out of our comfort zone and venturing into the unknown, and that's where growth happens. Victory over fear is not about becoming fearless, but about acting in spite of fear. So put on your dancing shoes, take a deep breath, and step onto the dance floor of life. You've got this. What would you do if you weren't afraid? Let's dive into that question and explore the transcendent power of overcoming fear. Imagine a young woman, petrified of public speaking. Her heart would pound at the mere thought. But she decided to confront this fear, to speak up, to share her ideas. She joined a local Toastmasters club, started speaking in small gatherings, gradually moving to larger audiences. It was a tough journey, filled with shaky voices and sweaty palms, but she persevered. Today, she is a renowned motivational speaker, inspiring thousands with her words. Overcoming her fear didn't just rid her of anxiety, it unlocked a whole new world of opportunities. Or consider the story of a man who was terrified of water. The mere sight of a swimming pool would send shivers down his spine. But he decided to challenge his fear. He started with dipping his toes, then his feet, then his whole body. Each step was a monumental victory. Today, he's an accomplished swimmer, gliding through the water with ease. Overcoming his fear didn't just make him a swimmer, it made him a conqueror of his own limitations. These stories aren't unique. They echo the narrative of countless individuals who decided to face their fears, to rise above them. They're stories of transformation, of personal growth, of newfound strength. They're stories of people who chose courage over comfort, who chose to grow instead of staying stagnant. What these stories tell us is that overcoming fear is not just about the absence of fear, it's about the presence of courage, the presence of resilience, the presence of confidence. It's about the opportunities that open up, the doors that were once closed but are now wide open. It's about the new paths that become visible, the new heights that become attainable. Overcoming fear is a process, a journey. It's a journey of self-discovery, of personal growth. It's a journey that shapes us, that molds us into stronger, braver versions of ourselves. It's a journey that teaches us that we are capable of so much more than we think, that we are stronger than our fears. In the end, it's not just about overcoming fear, it's about the person we become in the process. Recall the mountain climber from the beginning of our journey. Just like them, we've scaled the heights of understanding our fears. We've journeyed through the paradox of fear, acknowledging how it can both protect and hinder us. We've explored the profound impact fear has on our lives, influencing our decisions and shaping our paths. Together, we've learned strategies to overcome our fears. We've equipped ourselves with the tools to face them head-on, to challenge them, and to rise above them. We've discovered the transformative power of overcoming fear, how it pushes us to grow, to evolve, to become stronger versions of ourselves. And now, we stand at the summit of understanding, looking back at the path we've traversed, and forward at the vistas of potential that lie ahead. As we descend from this summit of knowledge, remember this journey whenever fear casts its shadow. May you find the courage to climb your own mountains, conquer your fears, and discover the breathtaking views waiting for you on the other side.